Hello everybody, and how are we doing? I'm Wardy, and today, yes, I'm gonna say the words, I am doing a YouTube exclusive. What? Hello YouTube, I've not done a YouTube exclusive, which is basically where I cast a series only for YouTube in a long time. I've just been super busy this year. You know, we've been doing loads of different tournaments, loads has been going on. So I'm very excited to be able to bring this series to you for only on YouTube. This is from the HomeStory Cup number 4. This is the Grand Finals. I thought if I'm going to get the chance to cast any of these series, I may as well go Grand Finals. It's one of those things where I don't know how much time I'm going to get to cover some of the other great games of this event. So why not start the finals, and then maybe I'll pick and choose another couple of matches that were great. As in the bottom left-hand corner, we do start with the blue Terran player from Team Liquid, Clem. And in the top right, our red Zerg from eSports, Serral. So yeah, I got a puppy and everything too, and we moved house, so it has just been crazy. I've been struggling to fit in the extra time to do YouTube exclusive stuff, but it's definitely time we started getting back on that train, because YouTube definitely benefits from it, and I really appreciate you guys, and you guys usually show a lot of love for it as well. So if you do end up liking this video, do consider hitting that like button, maybe consider subscribing to the channel, and I just hope you guys enjoy these games. So this is ZvT Best of 5 Grand Final. I don't know the result actually. I genuinely went to sleep early last night. I went to bed, didn't look at my phone, and I just kind of had the plan like, hey, you know, I'll just wake up and kind of cast. I knew who was in the finals, so I figured I'd just wake up and kind of cast whoever, you know, I just get the replays, they're set up spoiler free, and I would just cast them. So here we are. I've got no idea what's going to happen in this best of 5, but when you've got Clem versus Serral, it's bound to be fun. Serral kind of had Clem's number during the recent DreamHack, but Clem is not the player to kind of let that go easily, you know? I feel like Clem does bounce back from these things. It will be interesting to see just how well he can do here. What I'm really most excited for is, as long as Clem can bounce back, and obviously that's an assumption in itself, but if he can bounce back, I'm really excited to see if Serral can keep on performing as he has been doing, because there was a long time this year where Serral was just not competitive with Clem. Yeah, they would have some cool games, they'd have some cool back and forth, but for the most part, I think it's very fair to say that Clem was just outclassing Serral. There was, I believe, in the fall finals of DreamHack, I really felt that Serral was on a good roll. I felt he was in a good position, and he was starting 1-0 up in the winner bracket, and Clem just 4-1'd him with ease. It was disgustingly easy, and I looked like a complete fool predicting Serral. Serral then went on to win the season finals. He was in good shape, he just couldn't beat Clem. So again, figuring him out a little bit and stuff, it's been really interesting to watch. A lot of people credit it to maybe Serral mixing it up, using the Korean roaches more, which has been somewhat true. I think Clem had a bad day the first time they played in DreamHack. The second time around, I felt like Clem played a lot better, but Serral was still just that stronger player. So, yeah, I mean, it's one of those questions, is Clem just weak to roaches? And I actually, yes, in a way, maybe he's weaker, but I actually really don't think he is. If you guys watch the channel a lot, you might remember when Clem played Rogue in the World Team League, and he defended 2 roach attacks very amazingly. I mean, one of them he was absolutely dead in, he turned it around. I mean, he was just really good back then, and that's why I don't really have this stigma around Clem of him being bad against that kind of aggression. And Clem also then uses a lot of Banshee openings, which helps negate that as well. So, I mean, it's just one of those common beliefs that I'm not 100% on board with. Just thought that would be worth mentioning, just in case we get to see some roach stuff in this series. I guess one more thing to quickly mention is, of course, new ladder maps are available right now, and these are the new ladder maps as well. They might be slightly different to the versions you see on ladder, because there's a couple bugs on the ladder ones, a couple things that aren't quite right, so we're using the TLMC ones, which are the most updated version from the map makers, to 100% guarantee there's no weird features in a big tournament. So, yeah. Basically just that. That's how far we've got so far, and we do see a Cloak Banshee opening. The new maps are kind of cool. I think this one's very big but very choky. There's another one called Curious Minds, which is very small but very open, and I kind of like those contrasts. You know, what would usually make a map very good for one race, then has the other thing that makes it not very good for that race, you know? So it's like, well, what really matters more? The map being open for Zerg, or the map being short for Terran? In this case, the map being large for Zerg, or being choky for the Terran. So, kind of interested to see how Glittering Ashes turns out. I think this one has the potential to turn into a lot of big macro games. It's kind of like one of the Romanticides of this current map pool. It's not quite as defensive as Romanticide, but it definitely has that feel, and it absolutely has that size to it. Now, this game, he actually did Clem open Banshees, as someone mentioned that he often does. Again, that keeps you very safe. I don't feel like this is the sort of map where you need to open Banshees, because at the end of the day, like I was also saying, it's not really being a map then because it's large, because that you need to defend roaches on. But opening Banshees, maybe just saying, hey, Serral, if you're going to try something weird game 1, I'm not having any of it, as this Banshee does pick up a couple of kills. It actually already killed a couple of creep tumors. It's on 5 kills, but as you can see, only 3 drones dead. So only a couple of creep tumors going down. So the Banshee has been somewhat successful already. Now the Hellions are going to dive by. The Banshee around the top side on the natural. And the other Banshee is still up over here. Sorry, sometimes on these big maps, it's hard to see those little dots. The Lings are going to get surrounded on the Hellions. And Clem somewhat micros his way out of trouble there. Gets 1 drone. Only 3 Hellions survive, though. So 5 Hellions down. He only killed 5 Lings, plus that 1 drone. This was obviously not quite what he was looking for here. But the Banshee is putting in work. And when you've got units like a Banshee in control of Clem, or controlled by Clem, it's not pretty. I guess I wanted to say in the control of Clem, but when I say in control of Clem, it sounds like the Banshees are controlling Clem. They're like, right, Clem, make us kill drones. But no, in the control of Clem, they're pretty dangerous, just finding the edges. And the thing is, Clem knows a couple of drones here and a couple of drones there adds up to an advantage he can take advantage of just a bit further down the line in the game. So, yeah, I mean, it's the same. I feel like it's more commonly seen with his Liberator play, where that one Liberator from Clem usually survives so long. It picks off a drone here. It goes over here and picks off a drone. It goes over here, picks off a drone, or just forces a drone pull. And it just survives like 30 seconds, a minute longer than most other Liberators, and so it just gets so much more little damage done in that time, because he's so good at keeping those units alive, and that goes such a long way. As Marines and Widow Mines unloading over here, as Clem gets his first little bio push onto the map. This Banshee's still low HP, but getting away thanks to the cloak until now, and that Banshee is dead, so that's gone. As the Widow Mine going to hit the Overseer, doesn't get the kill on that, and Serral transfuses it. Of course, I think, well, Overseer not the biggest of deals, but it's one of those things, especially with Banshees on the map, you would want to just remake one. And you're early in the game where kind of the gas you're making or spending is very important. It's very valuable to you. You don't just have gas to be like, oh yeah, an Overseer, right? The earlier you have to do that, the more of a, oh, that's a real investment that it's going to be. So, unfortunate not to get that. Like I said, I mean, not end of the world for Clem either, right? It's not like he was like, oh man, that Overseer was going to be game-changing. As a little bit of target fire here shows off Clem's ability to micro, which we absolutely know is true. Tell you what, you can already see this map becoming a macro warfare kind of map, right? I mean, creep spread is everywhere. 5 bases of Serral coming up. They're all very set back in this kind of single line across the map, so he's not really had to step forward at all. Let's see what Clem does as he starts to push and see how he approaches going into the later game. We'll see if he wants to play very aggressively or if he just sets up kind of late game himself. Triple Widow Mine getting blown up before he even burrows. That's not pretty, as in the end he is going to end up on the drilling claws. So we'll have that upgrade to help. He's just gotten rid of those Banelings. It's going to be a fantastic fight from Clem. Able to win out big time. A couple more Banelings get targeted down. More Banes from the top side. The Marines get away. There's a Widow Mine here. And Serral just about split away from it. That was a good fight from Clem. And he's going to kill this hatchery top side. Serral realized too late that it's going to finish up. And that is going to be no cancel. Straight up kill. And the hatchery going down now. Marines running in on the right-hand side. And they are just going to come through and pick away at a few more creep tumors. These queens continue to take damage. Going to lift the Marines back into medevacs. They are going to slip away. And Clem is doing so much damage with the drop play here. I haven't even looked at the supply, if I'm honest with you all. And he is up 40 all of a sudden. And that's just a trade in the last few moments. 5,000 to 2,000 resources lost. My goodness, that's actually not even comparable. Look at this. I mean, he was just building a lot more, but then look at what Serral lost. Serral has done a good job droning, etc., but then he just didn't get an army that ever really fought here. And maybe at points he was just not having enough army in the first place at all. Widow Mines are going to be split away from well as Serral will defend. Yes, this is going to actually be a really good test of Glitter and Ashes, because if Serral can defend on this map and stay alive, it absolutely is a tell. That's, from this position, it's absolutely a tell that, hey, look, but there's something, pretty macro-y about this map. It's a good defender's map, etc. He is playing Lingbane Hydra. There's actually kind of a hard composition to end the game against, because the Hydras give you that kind of backline sturdiness, so they're actually pretty good in the army. It creates an army that's very hard to fight into. If this was Lingbane Muta, Clem just says, right, get the Mutas under control for a second, and I go across the map and I just win, probably. somewhat similar to just Ling Bane, control the run bys, go across the map and you're fine. The Hydras are kind of the biggest difference of all there. And like I say, they are really the composition that allows you to be a bit more like, okay, I can hold off. This was a good set of trades from Serral. He got rid of the Widow Mines effectively, of course. Of course, one big Widow Mine shot can open the doorway for Clem right now, who is really just punishing that Serral doesn't have enough units. You know, Serral has to run back over to this right-hand side, trying to deflect this. Now Clem's back on the top side, and if Serral had more units, splitting this up properly would be easier, but it's so difficult to split it up properly when these Marines are just on both sides of the map in good numbers. He does get a little catch here, and Serral does clean up a few more units, including the medevac. As Clem finishes up 2-2, he'll be even on upgrades again. He's also got a drop up in the main base as well, by the way. There is really just action happening everywhere on Glittering Ashes at the moment. So, really, I mean, a great start from Clem. He absolutely got his macro going in this first game. He's absolutely gotten things rolling. He's probably feeling pretty good so far as these few changelings run down. I mean, this is a drop now, which I don't think is going to do much else. The drop in the main being shut down too. Serral's finally getting to like 160, 170 supply. And it just means splitting units around against all these drops is that much easier. He can leave a few units in the main, etc. And so, Clem needs to maybe sharpen up a little bit. All of a sudden, Serral's macro is getting him to be maxed out. Not in a great position still, because he's still missing a 5th base. He still doesn't have the bank he would like to have at this stage of the game. So it's not like Serral's like right back into this. Oh my god, Serral's, you know, gonna win, so all of a sudden he's just improving his position. He's surviving long enough to at least give himself a chance. And I mean, credit to him, because when Clem is putting that much pressure onto you, it's got to be difficult. Extra CC bottom right might want to float away with taking the 5th base in the front here as Clem. No surprise to see the Terran keeping their bases in a very controlled setting. You know, as close to each other as possible. The closer the better, really. So you can get to and defend them all. And also just the 5th base then forward position. You can rally to the Zerg from there. You can pull back to it more easily. You know, bases towards your opponent is generally always the way to be playing in this matchup, as those Widow Mines are going to relocate and just be a little bit annoying. There goes one drone going down already. Over on this side, Widow Mines trying to line up. I mean, the defense here has been reasonable from Serral. Has not really lost anything to these mines. It's going to be a Morphing Overseer. Wow, that's amazing. They took the shot just before it finished morphing to an Overseer, and then it got healed up. So that's actually amazing. So there you go. Serral with the timing of a lifetime right there on the Overseer. I don't think I've ever seen that before, because it hit just as the Overseer morphed, so it just looked like the Widow Mine did no damage. Alright, well, Clem's still maxed out, and Clem still has the better bank. And Clem also has the preparation for the late game, with all the command centers and so on coming through. So all of that is worth keeping in mind here, as we see a group of Banelings morphing in from Serral. They're going to get ready to rally up over here. Ling Bane Hydra from both sides as Clem. In this little choked up position, will be liking the choke, but Serral gets a reasonable surround. I mean, it gets awkward because this ledge obviously blocked a few of these Hydras off, so the surround wasn't perfect. You know, if those Hydras are able to fight too, maybe it's even better. But Serral actually, I mean, probably one of the better fights you could take given the position. There's a single Ghost here, and that goes down. I mean, Ghosts are a little bit before their time in this game. Massling Bane Hydra, Ghosts are actually not that good because, you know, the more Lings and Banes there are, the more Ghosts get counted because they just can't kill those units fast enough. For how, you know, for how they can do okay, but for how costly they are, they oftentimes just end up in trouble, and it's just not a good trade. So they're a little bit ahead of their time once the Lurkers and Vipers are on the field, which they're starting to get to. That's when Ghosts are really going to be valid. So I mean, I say it's ahead of its time. The transition time is good. It's just that one Ghost was not really ready to be a game changer in this army. I mean, 3 Ghosts in about 30 seconds when Lurkers are morphing in, absolutely give that to me. You know, help out with the Vipers on the map now. It's probably the only fight the Ghost was going to be ahead of its time on, basically, is what I'm saying. So, maybe a little bit of a silly comment. Anyways, Widow Mines come down the ramp and our Bioforces want to come through. A few Banelings are going to finish morphing into Widow Mine fire. And we are just lurking around this high ground as Clem has a couple more Widow Mines getting set up. Going to be firing away. The siege tank that got mixed in now going down as well. I wonder if that was... It feels like very much so like a misclick of a siege tank, because I don't see any more siege tanks being made. I believe there's only been one this entire time, right? I don't even see a siege tank on resources on the units lost tab. You know why that is? It's because it got blown up by the Widow Mines, so friendly fire units don't count on the units lost tab. So that's actually hilarious, because I feel like that siege tank was an absolute anomaly, and there is one more on the map, but it's almost like, you know, Clem's doing everything to pretend it didn't exist. Like the Widow Mine blew it up, it doesn't count on units lost. Was there ever a siege tank? But yeah, mixing 1 or 2 in can be cute just to kind of hold position in a different way, and especially hold off Lurkers, which want to dive in on you. Then tanks can get a good few shells off before those lurkers get on top, and that can go a long way to help out as the Bioforce up here. That's a snipe on the Viper, no cancel on that. The first Ghost in the front line does go down as the Banelings connect. The Widowmines get to fight back too. A siege tank in the center going down. 12 lurkers coming up. This fight's dangerous for Serral just because he doesn't have those lurkers ready yet, but here they come. They're currently trying to get some snipes off, but the Ghosts just aren't being successful, and it wasn't on the lurkers either. As the lurkers burrow up, Clem might want to reassess how he is controlling this game, just because obviously now that lurkers are here, you do fight a little bit differently. You've got to be very careful about running in. That's 9 more lurkers on top of 12, right? So that's going to be like, wow, 20 plus lurkers in the game. That's a lot of lurkers. I almost feel like that's too many. If Clem can just get that ghost count up, you're going to be able to snipe your way through that very easily, as one lurker here left defensively goes down quickly, and I mean, Clem's just happy to take a trade against +2 melee Zerglings. Yeah, they have the carapace, but missing the further melee upgrade. Same as the Hydra/Lurkers are missing their further missile upgrade. Because initially, when he got +3 carapace, Serral, he was working on the missiles after he got melee upgrades earlier in the game. So now it's just a situation of, right, well, you know, he obviously just kind of maybe forgot. It's been a bit of a crazy game. That is not good. That is just a snipe line, as those lurkers got shot down easily. I mean, that is not what you're looking for there at all as Serral. So we were talking about a very scary 20+ lurker count. Now we're at 15. Did we only lose 5? We lost 7 this game. Okay. So 7 lurkers dead already. It just feels like they've not even made an impact on the engagement so far. So for, you know, 7 to have died, it's kind of wow. That was cute. That that Ling tried to get away from the Widow line to maybe survive a little bit as Clem fights to take that base. Snipes down the ramp. We get a cancel on a lurker, I believe. Maybe is just going to be seeing some Widow mines going off. Overseer picked away. I'm just going to see a couple more lurkers being sniped away at as well. And we do have Clem maxed out against a 160 supply Serral. Some of the recent trades continuing to go very well for him. And if he can get rid of all these lurkers, and I think he will get rid of a lot of them, then there's not going to be a lot to really hold Clem off. Because Serral doesn't have a lot of support beyond the lurkers. You mentioned there was so many lurkers. He sacrifices a lot of everything else to make sure that that kind of happens. And then to just be losing so many of the lurkers, he counterattacks for one base. He does have one over here. I mean, Serral is losing bases himself, still down on supply. I mean, nice to deny some economy of Clem, but he's got command centers for days. I mean, it just feels as though you need to be doing this damage without taking damage yourself. You need to be setting up bases while denying the bases of your opponent. And that's what not what Serral's been doing. He's been losing bases of his own, as I think Clem roughly knows where these lurkers are, and he's going to find the snipes on the left side. He gets 3 of them right away. He's going to hide in the corner. Serral's just going to type out GG, and I mean, it's 120 supply against 190, so you can see where it's going. You could maybe argue, well, Serral, you've been defending so long, you know, why now? But I think Serral realizes that on the map he just has like 8 banelings. There's so many ghosts. He only has 5 lurkers left. It's just that tipping point where he realizes, I am not recovering from this anymore, and that does wrap up game number 1. Game number 2 will be on Curious Minds. I talked a bit about at the start of the last game how, you know, we had that map was large but choky. This map is the small but open map. You know, this is a short rush distance. It gets even shorter when you knock the rocks down in the center. But it is so open, you know? I mean, there's just so many... I mean, I don't say there's so many places to fight in the open, but a lot of the you know, the typical early bases are very open. And even where there are chokes, it's like, well, it's not the craziest of chokes. It's like, choke here, 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 here. But how many fights are going to happen specifically around here and here, you know? So yeah, it's very open, especially around that third base, I think, is one of the major discussion points. And open doesn't always mean just outside of chokes as well. Open means like, hey, if Serral wants to fight here, for example, yeah, this is up a choke here, through a choke here kind of thing, right? But it's very easy to go up this ramp, and maybe even if you have a little bit more time, wrap around this side as well. You know, there's not a lot of avenues of attack that are blocked off from one direction, so you only have to focus on one avenue of attack. There's always going to be a potential of a flank, right? That is absolutely the reason that this map is going to be feeling very open. So, yeah, I wonder who chose what so far, because actually, I don't know who vetoed what, but to me it feels as though... I actually could decide. Maybe I think Serral picks this map. I only say that because I really don't know. Raynor said he likes this map a lot when he played against Clem recently. We casted a bit of that. Yeah, he said this map feels very good in ZvT. So I don't know. It's really difficult to know when these new maps come around, and especially maps like this where there's not just outright one way in which this map is better for like Terra. It's not like it's Beckett Industries, you know. Then we could look at it and say, well, look, it's small, it's very choky. There's a lot of avenues you can attack in without being flanked. You know, it's just a Terran map. This map really has to be decided on over the course of time. So I actually wouldn't be too surprised if Serral picked the last map and then Clem picked this one, mostly just going off of size. Again, these maps are relatively new in the ladder map pool for less than a week so far. You know, this was the first major tournament played on them, so yes, they've seen these maps a fair amount at this stage, but, you know, it takes a lot of games to get a proper feel for a map and to figure things out and to see how exactly you want to play things and so on, right? I just want to take a quick moment as we have early game Reaper Micro here with these Zerglings. Oh, well, it cleans out and that's going to defend this from now on. I just wanted to take a quick moment to obviously again just say thank you to everyone that's been watching the YouTube. Like I say, it's been a while since I got to do one of these YouTube exclusives, and I really appreciate that our viewership dropped off a lot on YouTube and stuff, so I really want to say thanks to everyone who is still around. It really does mean a lot, and I just want to say thanks for always making it worth to upload these videos every day, and yeah, thank you so much. I just want to quickly say as well, just to get it out of the way, that if you do enjoy and you want to support further than just liking the video and stuff, Patreon is probably the best way to do that. You can find the link in the description, and 100% of what you pledge on Patreon goes into tournament prize pools, so we actually run more StarCraft with it. But obviously that helps me out because it gives me more games to cast for you all. So check that out. I just wanted to get that one out there early as we can focus back in on the games. It was 3CC, as I just showed you, so super early 3 command center on this shorter map. You know, I think it's almost a little bit of a mind game. You know, you play Banshees on this long rush distance map in game 1, and then, you know, as Clem was saying to Serral, hey, look, if I'm playing Banshees on that map, you think I'm not playing Banshees here? Good Roach Ravager map because it's open, better Ling Bane map, but, you know, defending this third base against a 1-1 Roach time is already very tough. So I think Clem is almost like, hey, Serral, you know, dare me to not go Banshees, you know, almost, and he's like, I'm actually going to go 3CC. He will get Banshees after 3CC, though, so it's still a Banshee kind of focused setup. Just with a little bit more greed ahead of it this time around, so a little bit more feistiness, and looking to just really deal that damage a little bit later on, and again, more so just be happy with your own economy right from the get-go. I think you almost have to go Banshees with 3CC here. Like I said, it is just too easy of a map to attack on if not, so yeah. This first Marine is just going to nibble through the Overlord. That will die. So this Overlord going down in the next few moments. Obviously, Serral gets a very good scout where he does get to confirm. Right, Banshee's pretty much on the way. Obviously, in the back of your mind, you're always like, well, is he going to cancel it? But if you see it being committed into for now, you have to just prepare in case it is Banshees. I mean, that's basically just meaning getting a Spore Crawler up per base and just making sure your queens aren't out in the middle of nowhere without detection, etc. He is going to play Evo Chambers before Lair. Now, he knows it's 3CC as well, so he wants to play the faster upgrades. Remember that not just the 3CC, but then also the Banshee commitment. All of this delays the upgrades of Clem, so Serral will have very quick upgrades this game. The downside of faster upgrades is the later Lair. With the later Lair, you're going to have a much later Baneling speed. Now, he might say that's not a problem, because you don't have stim as quick because you're building Banshees after your 3CC. Clem doesn't know what to do with these aliens. He's like, do I go in? Do I not? Yeah, the Lings was like kind of sitting back, and I think Serral wanted him to commit there, so Clem just ends up pulling away. That was a dangerous moment, but I think it's the right choice to get out of there, actually, as this Banshee gets deflected to begin with. So yeah, later Lair means later Bane speed, which maybe isn't as bad, because he's saying, well, you know, I don't really, you know, you're not going to be as aggressive anyway if this Banshee goes down on the edge of that Spore range for detection. Later Lair also means no Overseers, but that doesn't matter as much now because, well, you're down to just one Banshee, so yes, it's annoying. Nearly loses that one too, apparently. So yes, you're down to one Banshee. It can still be annoying, but it's not as bad as 2, and 2 Banshees really could limit a lot of where you could go without an Overseer. 1 just is half as effective, right? I mean, actually probably less than half, or more. It's way less effective than... I've got myself in a mathematical turntable here, guys. I don't know what I'm going for. It's less than half as effective? Yeah. It's like a third as effective, right? Because you're not one-shotting drones, so you got to stick around longer even to get the quick grabs. The Banshee, the killing a queen takes so long, you've got so much more time to retreat it to a Spore. So it's not even like, you know, you kill a Banshee, half the effectiveness of it. It's like, it really, the duo is meant to be the powerhouse there. So Serral's going to completely get away with faster upgrades and skipping the Lair. The only thing he might not get away with is the later Baneling speed, and that's where Clem will have some pushes. That's going to be scary. But that's where Serral can also say, well, look, I've got 1-1 while you're on 0-0. So as long as that's going to cover my, cover my ass basically while I get Baneling speed up, and it more or less is. The Marines here have about 60 seconds until they get their 1-1, and Bane speed's an 80-second upgrade, so there's only going to be 20 seconds where Serral has to fight with even upgrades as he flanks around here. That tank is going to die. Yeah, there's only going to be 20 seconds or so where Serral has to fight 1-1 versus 1-1 without Bane speed. And as long as he has a 1-1 set of upgrades against 0-0, Lings themselves should just do very well. And obviously this first just jump on this army was very effective. And he's just going to clean out a few more Marines as well. So he's already slowing down a lot of the pressure of Clem. Clem is already getting into a position here where it's like, well, you're just not really able to get that much done as the medevacs lift up these Marines. They're going to go boost away. An armory on the top left side. As actually, that's going to be a later 2-2 from Clem as well. So Serral's really going to take an upgrade lead here. Like, he is going to have a sizable upgrade lead when it comes to 2-2 versus 1-1. So a lot of these mid-game fights are going to be very decisive as well. With these faster upgrades, Serral is going to bypass a lot of the lair tech, instead just opting for an infestation pit, which obviously leads you into a faster hive. In this case, I imagine we're at least going to see maybe a tech up into ultras, I would guess. You don't have to go ultras here, Serral loses a few lings. You could go hive and like lurkers if you wanted to, and just kind of skip straight to lurkers. You kind of then bypass making a lot of hydras in your army. Like last time we saw a lot of fights with hydras before lurkers were ready to go. This time around, you could obviously just skip into like maybe basically just going lurkers. Let's see what we commit to. Vipers don't really feel like a necessity right now. There's no tanks on the map, right? You're building Widow Mines because it's playing Bane. There's the hive. Yeah, and there's the Hydra Den. So like I say, it's not going to be into ultras. Ultras are usually like a Ling Bane meter thing, where because here you've just gone Ling Bane, you can afford to then just tech into lurkers basically off the hive. But if you're playing mutas, you can't afford to do that as easily, so then you have to play a more transitionary unit, and that is usually the Ultralisk. I know a lot of people like to hate on the Ultras, but when it comes to helping you to get to the next stage, the Ultras really do help you do that when you're playing Ling Bane muta. And that's why I think it's easy to discount the Ultras here, because that's more of a thing when you've got these mutas on the map. Is we are going to be seeing these Banelings not crashing in very effectively. Just Hellbat's tanking up at the moment, and still pushing Clem. Looking okay so far. We're trying to split some Widow Mine shots away. As an Overseer taking some hits as well. This is like one of the most choked positions on this map, but it's so easy to flank it, right? And again, that's why the map is open. Yes, there's a choke point, but you can come up here and just flank straight in, no problem at all if you want to. Bottom left side, Clem is still staying active, trying to go in multiple directions. In the end, we're just going to jump on these siege tanks. They will go down. The Pain's like, get on top of the tanks. They can't actually shoot at us. I was going to see a few of these Marines forced to lift back up into medevacs as well. They escape off over to that side. Wouldn't mind setting up, and a few of these units going down. 3 workers. Queen taking a hit. These couple of medevacs want to make their way through the south side. As Ling Bane comes up over here, looking to wrap around these Marines. Medevacs load up. They're going to drop into the 3 o'clock position. I'm just going to see that Spore Crawler fire and then dealing some good damage to the medevacs as well. So far, so good. As the Lurker Den comes down now from Serral. I mean, Serral just needs to keep defending, and once you get to those Lurkers, this game changes drastically. It's a completely different way of playing. Oh man, I didn't realize, but Clem forgot his +2 armor for a while as well, and while the attack upgrade is typically more important, armor still goes a nice little, distance, especially when kind of Lings get us around. Yeah, I mean, I guess Clem's not going to let the Lings stand there and do damage a lot of the time, but... Well, as we do move forward, these Widow Mines are going to get shut down pretty effectively so far. Oh my god, that Baneling should have gone for those ones. I mean, maybe he didn't see it as they burrowed, but he just did what he could. I mean, he got them all in the end, wasn't so bad. Good cleanup again from Serral. Feels like he's controlling this game. Clem's got a lot of army supply. I don't feel like he can get this army into a position to really fight. And actually, supply blocked. Badly supply blocked too. No deeper on the way, just waiting for a command center to finish. So Clem just been stunted because of his own kind of doings at the moment. Stunting his own growth in this game as he drops down and goes to Academy. He's recognizing that this game is going to be going to the later stages. He absolutely knows that this is going to be one of those longer situations, right? I think he is feeling that he is just not going to be able to end this game any earlier than that. As I pulled back there, he didn't actually really find many Widow Mines before the Widow Mine shot went off. Just going to be seeing the Bioforce coming in from the left, and a bunch of Banelings getting taken down, so they're going to be forced back over that right-hand side. Just going to be now seeing some Ling Bane coming up, and these Marines going to get crashed into. Medivacs load up, take them elsewhere. We're still fighting on the left as well. A lot of the Banelings not reaching their targets, but there are a lot more units where they're coming from. And the Lurkers are about to be ready, and the Lurkers will be a game changer. He has still got units on the right side to defend. I'm trying to take the bottom left base as well. Very different expansion route to what we saw a few days ago, the last time I casted these new maps. Talk about that in a second, though. When this action calms down, the Lurker's getting burrowed. This should be the deflection to really push Clem back for more than just a moment. And that is going to be Serral feeling a little bit better as Overseer is out here just tanking these Widowmine shots. Although now no Overseer to actually detect them. Yeah, taking this base down here, a lot of what we saw recently on this map was actually taking a base up here for your 4th, then your 5th over here, and then, you know, and all of that, and then pushing the right side. But Clem wants to push this left side a lot more. So hence he goes down the left side of the map. Yeah, I'm just wondering if there's a better attacking route for him. I feel like if you took this base, Zerg was constantly attacking you from here, here, and here. Like, going to the left, it almost feels like at least all the attacks here just come down one ramp. And the attacks over here go this way and this way, right? And if you're controlling this sort of area, it kind of does limit the map. So yeah, I think a lot of Terran's initial instinct was expand over here and go towards this base of the Zerg. But in reality, that's actually not quite what you really want to be doing. You want to be taking maybe the easier to defend bases on this, you know, actually fairly open map. And that includes going down the left side. So it's kind of cool to see that adjustment being made over the last couple of days already. I mean, sometimes maybe it's just different Terran players and they have different playstyles, but I believe I've seen Clem take the upper base as well recently too. It really was like the base everyone was taking a few days ago. So I would love to say that's kind of interesting, right? I mean, it's fascinating how just a few days can give, you know, players an idea of, oh right, you know, this is how this map should maybe be played. This is how we should be approaching it, and all the rest. I think that's very cool to see. I mean, it's one of the reasons StarCraft is such a wonderful game, right, guys? Just so much variety, so much possibility. The game shifts of its own accord, right? It's got that kind of fluidity to do so. The snipes of the game really coming down onto a Lurker as we do start pushing this top right side. I mean, the game overall, it's easy to say that Serral did a great job defending, but Clem's obviously taken that and said, well, I'll roll with it. He's taking his top side base, and I mean, this is basically saying we're going to 6 bases each. And this is where this map becomes a lot like Oxide, where if you don't end the game, you know, in the later game, it almost feels worse for the Zerg, this map, because, and this is where I think it really does become a Terran map, maybe, because think of Oxide, you know, a map we're very familiar with, was in the map pool for a long time. A lot of the time on that map, it was a Terran map, and yes, the layout of that map helped Terran, but also just the fact it was 6 bases, so you only have, like, a certain amount of ways you can expand. Which means that, you know, if this base gets denied, Serral can't just be like, oh, it's okay, I'm going to get an alternate base over here. He's limited on base, and that also means that Serral is the one that has to end the game earlier, because as you can see, Clem is trading more efficiently. So if you both mine out 6 bases, who wins this game? Clem does. Unless you start trading way better as Serral, which is just not naturally what happens for a Zerg. So Serral is the one who will be on a little bit of a timer here. And who, as the game goes later, definitely feels as though he will be under a little bit more pressure in general. And I think that's very cool, as Ling Bane, Hydra, Viper pulls back down the right side. We've got a Lurker over here, still doing very well, picking away at some SCVs, just being very annoying, dodging away from this Liberator. We're going to have just a unit versus unit duel here, apparently. I mean, that's going to take up a bunch of scans, right? And that's the sort of thing which, yeah, you have a lot of. But it's just not perfect. It was this time that I think the missile turret detection was in range, so that works out, I suppose. Alright, well, cool game, man. I mean, it's actually been a fascinating game so far. Really fun stuff. We got a Parasitic Bomb onto the Liberator. Just a couple of Hydras here can get rid of that, and Ling Bane is going to, get on top of this base. The base is going to go down. I'm saying because the Ghosts are kind of cornered, but they've got the minerals to help them out, and actually they're going to be able to stand their ground. They also had the Medivacs to retreat with as well, so it wasn't a real kind of, you're doomed moment. This command center just instantly replaces the base lost. Obviously, Serral's, one of his goals here is to keep Clem, if he can, on 5 bases while he gets the 6 bases up and running. That would help to offset the trading difference that we're seeing. I love these just Lurkers here, Lurkers there, getting some damage done. Serral's going to lose his 6th base now as well, so it's still going to end up being, what, a base for a base? Widowmine shot does okay as well. Base for a base, I mean, you can't really kind of pressure this, though. You can't really do much about it, because there's so many Medivacs. The lift up and escape is absolutely going to happen, so if you run into that, you're just going to lose units for free. And so Serral just wants to threaten, but not really commit. The lurker behind the mineral line is going to get caught by a Liberator sieging on top of it, and that lurker has to go elsewhere. Again, this consistent duel, like I said, it's very cute, but I mean, Clem is actually building more turrets just to try and attempt to make this like a manageable situation. That's kind of funny. More lurkers on the way up. And yeah, at the moment Clem is holding 6 bases, but he's not struggling to, he's struggling to actually mine off 6 bases comfortably. That's absolutely turned into a bit of the problem here as this army comes around the right-hand side. Clem will go down the right. We've got the lurkers making their way up to the upper left as well, so they are making some moves. I'm just going to be seeing 12 additional banelings morphing on that right-hand side. The 3-3 upgrades, and that both attack upgrades. The carapace has been done for a while here. On the way too, so Serral just really entering the later stages. He's going to get lurkers on top of this planetary fortress. It is going to drop without really much to be said about it. So that planetary fortress goes down. And I mean, these are important shutdowns from Serral. He really does need to be denying these bases of the Terran a little bit. Else Clem really just outmine him, as Serral at the moment has a little bit of a larger bang. Looking to fight here. Obviously, this starts to go off creep. He's looking for the wraparound lurkers from the other side now. Trying to also get on top of this. I mean, these ghosts have to lift up, and a lot of ghosts do actually go down. You hear their screams. An orbital command dies as well. Nothing on the planetary over here. That's going to be okay. 12 SCVs. Was that bottom left? I think it might have been. Maybe 1 or 2 extra going down, or maybe a couple Banes on that planetary. But Serral, yeah, really taking the chance to just dive in with these lurkers. Remember, because it's a small map, usually you kind of worry for the Zerg, because then it's easy for the Terran to push. But if the Zerg can push with lurkers and get on top of your base, well, they're just on top of your base very quickly. You don't have a lot of time to recall and to reset as the Terran. So you've got to be really careful with the fights, because if you lose a fight, the Zerg can probably not just get one base, but maybe even a little bit more position on the map, right? And I feel like that's a lot of what Serral is doing here. He's getting his lurkers right up into Clem's face and saying, hey, look, you have a problem, buddy. You have got all of these lurkers just kind of here, ready to fight, and if you just do not have the setup for a single moment, you're going to be in some big problems, as this single Liberator will take a while to go down. It's going to get some drones, as it looks as though Serral has not quite realized. Maybe other things going on. It's just a scan up there. He brought other queens across to deal with it, losing 5 drones. Serral place a couple, as he's still building a lot of Hydra Lurker. Unit count at this point, 60 Lings, 20 Banes. That's going to be, again, the Overseer here to clean up the couple Widow Mines. Oh, fight breaking out this top right-hand side. This time Clem gets away pretty quickly, lost a couple mines at first. His ghosts are very far back here. I think he's going to get this base, so that's a lot of what this contest over here is about, of course. He's going to get this base, I say. He does not. It's so low, it's likely to go down later, as lurkers over here actually have a really good chance of getting this planetary, perhaps. I say moments before we see the Unburrow. I think just didn't want to stick around with the scan there. He was in range, and obviously he knows that the units from the top right are starting to rotate back along as well. He's just trying to be effective and efficient with his lurkers, saving them when he can. Still nice, though, 10 SCVs, and it's that multi-prong, and he's actually going to start taking over one of the bases of Clem. If you can mine that bottom left-hand base, again, it does a lot to offset the differences in trades that have happened throughout this game. It's still an 8,000 resource loss difference, and that's something that Serral can do to play a longer game. And for him to be okay for him, because now he has a 7th base, and it's not just he has 7 versus 6, he has 7 versus 5, so it's a 2-base advantage, as we're just going to run on this base again. Planetary Fortress will do a lot of helping, but it's going to get blown up. Now, the Parasitic Bombs on the Medevac's also doing good damage, making it risky to just lift up units and evacuate them. Serral even got the command center that was nearby that could have been a replacement, and now Clem's only going to have an orbital on this location, and that means it's even easier for Serral to bust that down. You don't have to worry about the planetary defending it. You don't have to worry about, Ling run-bys. They can just do better. Sorry. I'm really getting caught on my words. Clem does have to worry about the Ling run-bys, for example, right? A lot more now that it's not a planetary fortress. Serral comes running forwards here, as we're just going to get burrowed up. Ghosts again, just taking lurker shots to the face. And Serral he isn't maxed out yet because he's not got the lava, but when he's got the money to max out. That's the big thing here, right? He's got the money to do it. He just needs to get the lava. I mean, now we're abducting ghosts in here as well. Clem is in a position where he just is unable to rebuild. His economy's being shattered. He's not got a bank. He's had to rely on that way too much recently. I mean, you look at the income advantage here. Serral just taking more and more of a lead over time. And it's definitely becoming apparent. And now as Serral loses this top right side base, the bottom left side base is coming up and online. I mean, losing the drones is painful, though. because those drones do cost money. But like I said, you got to worry about just a Ling run by now. 9 SCVs go down over there. It's a shame that you're going to lose almost 30 drones, but it's also a stage of the game. I guess we're going to rebuild some of those. And it's not like Serral is rich, I suppose, so actually those drones really do matter for a lot. I was trying to somewhat justify it, but no, it's really expensive. Like I say, the lava problems were a thing, and now he doesn't have, like, I mean, 60 drones is still better than 44 SCVs, but they're building up a massive bank here. Fortunately, Serral's army supply is still close to doubling that of Clem's, and with an army composition that absolutely can fight as well, as these lurkers are like, yep, hello, Ghost, you're sniping us? Well, we will just run to the snipes, and that's a parasitic bomb and medevacs. It's a low HP one that splits away and gets killed. It's just a guaranteed kill at that moment as a lurker over here trying to be annoying as well. I love what Serral has been doing all game long, as that's just going to be GG. All game long with these single lurkers behind bases and stuff, just being very annoying. GG's, but you know what? This was actually much closer than it looked, simply for the fact that Clem had Serral almost not minding as much as he wanted to be towards the end. So if Clem had maybe kept one base and like 15, 20 more workers alive, and he has one more fight, maybe it's kind of possible. I don't know. I think he's obviously, like, you look at it right now, he's very dead. But I can see a world where a couple minutes ago things go a little bit differently perhaps, and Clem actually is in like a reasonable spot here, and is maybe able to keep on fighting at least a little bit. So GG's, and Serral gets one on the board to tie us up in this grand final best of 5. We start game number 3 to the top right-hand side of Hardwire, another of the new maps, as we have our blue Terran player from Team Liquid, it is Clem. And in the bottom left-hand side, our red Zerg player is Serral. He's from eSports, of course. If I had to make a guess on vetoes, as we're just talking about the new map still being played, I would imagine if we see game 4, well, we're going to see game 4, but if we see a game 5, I think we're going to be talking about probably... Well, I think we're definitely going to see 2,000 atmospheres. I would imagine Clem vetoes Pride of Altaris. Pride of Altaris is one of the new maps. It's massive. I'm not going to get into it now because I'm sure you'll hear it on some other videos of mine where I complain about it when it gets played. I think it's just way too macro-focused for the map pool, and especially in the current meta. We are going to have some like 45, 50-minute games, and it's not going to be fun. But that's probably not in this series. I'd be surprised if Clem let that in, because it's just very difficult to do damage to a Zerg who can just defend forever. It's kind of like Glittering Ashes. So you take away anything that was good for Terran on Glittering Ashes, and you make it even more defensive. And what does that leave? It leaves Berlingrad and Blackburn. I imagine one of those the veto for the Zerg. I actually don't know what you would veto there, so maybe we'll see as the game goes on. And Berlingrad, I feel like Berlingrad's fairly standard, so maybe we see a bit of Berlingrad. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what the exact veto setup's going to be, but if I had to make a guess, I'd say it's going to be 2,000 atmospheres, probably is map 4, and then the 5th map is probably going to be a fight between what Serral prefers to play on more. I would imagine he plays Berlingrad over Blackburn, but maybe he's more comfortable on Blackburn. That's definitely something to keep in mind when it comes to his initial vetoes here as well. Alright, game number 3, as we do have the drone moving down, an SCV scout as well. Very standard stuff in the first couple of minutes, not really too much to shout about just yet. If I want to talk a bit about this map, so one thing on this map that's different on the ladder, but then this is why we're using the TLMC versions, is the TLMC version was updated to have this little doodad, which means you can't unload tanks. So on the ladder, and I don't want you guys to go and abuse this, but I mean, I can't stop you. On the ladder edition, I believe, you're able to unload 2 siege tanks here, which is disgusting for attacking into this main base. So that's definitely a problem. And that's something which I'm sure will be edited in due course. But now, tournaments just using the TLMC version, I think, makes a lot of sense. It's very similar. It's just like one of those oversights, right? Where it's like, you know, there's so many things to check on a map when you're making it as a map maker, and you know, there's so many little bits and pieces just make sure like there's no liberated position where Lib can hit a mineral line without being hit itself, for example, etc. And this is just one which is so easily fixed. He just added this, literally this circle is what was added, and it immediately fixed the problem. So it was a very clutch situation where it just almost wasn't a thing anyway. So just worth mentioning that perhaps, just in case you realize it. Otherwise, we are going to see a 3cc 211. Second rack's on the way up after a third CC is already building here. That's going to be pretty fascinating. I like that, as a few Lings try and put some pressure out on that Reaper. They're like, hey, Reaper, we see you. And the Reaper's like, I see you guys. I'm going to fire a shot at you. A little bit of back and forth. As the stim pack is on the way on the barracks. There's going to be seeing another axe finishing up soon. And we do have our Hellion making its way down to the bottom side of the map. So first Hellions of the game showing up to join up with Mr. Reaper and try and put on a little bit of pressure. That stim coming through, and yeah, just kind of getting this going so far. As this Rax is going to come over, drop down a reactor, or drop down onto the reactor. And there's our starport, so reactor on the factory, get the medevacs ready. And this has become a fairly common build as well. There was a time where this was the build. I think around this time last year, right, when Beyond really returned, won Aces ROG, this build really took a lot of popularity then. It was like, hey, what if you do the 2-1-1, but you do it off an economy? And everyone was like, whoa, it's so good, it's amazing, I love it. And to be fair, it really was good, you know, this really was something which was quite spectacular, and it really was a very cool thing to see. And it does work well, and I think nowadays it's just a good build to mix in. Great scout from Serral will know exactly what's happening here. He sees the starport about to land, he sees the 3CC, he even hold positions this Overlord. He's like, you know what, I don't even care. You know, you kill my Overlord, it's gonna go down, Clem, you have it. I actually think he just wanted to double check for as long as possible. So there's actually a reason he did this. So he wanted to check for as long as possible to see what was happening with this reactor. Because he wants to know if there's going to be Hellions made and an armory, or if there's going to be medevacs. So yeah, I'm like, oh, I'm having my Overlord. But actually, I think there's a very good reason for it, and it's exactly because of what that Overlord was just in vision of seeing. And Clem had to, for a moment or two, pretend, yeah, you know, my factory is going to be on this reactor. Yeah, that's a thing. And obviously that's not the case. Just trying to, you know, send false information here, Clem. And that does delay these medevacs by a couple of seconds. It's the little things when these two play against each other, right? When you're at this level of gameplay, it's the little things that go such a long way. As we do see these Marines flying over in the medevacs, the single circling out the front there. As a few Marines will begin to unload. And we're going to launch an attack onto this hatchery pretty much right away. So this hatch going to be in some trouble. Queen's coming over. Hatch gets cancelled. The Lings trying to get in there for the wraparound. The Marines look for the main base, but decide not to drop. So they're just going to hold back. And just going to be seeing that Baneling Nest coming down on the natural expansion as well. So all of this still just coming on through. 1-1 upgrades coming up as well on the evolution chambers. And just going to be seeing our armory of Clem coming up on the natural expansion as well, as our third CC is down in position. I mean, everything's just looking good, right? I mean, looks like a nice, good game. Serral again opts for the melee upgrades before he goes for the lair and the Baneling Nest, so that's going to be cool. He's going to have that upgrade advantage again. We talked about that a lot early game last time around. Never really came to much, I don't think, right? I don't think there was any crazy fights where it's like, wow, that 2-2 versus 1-1 engagement was insane. We are going to see a nice quick burrow here, and I don't believe we really saw much burrow action on the last map, unless I was a terrible observer and missed it all, but just burrowing up a couple of Banes around the map can always be annoying, and forcing those scans. So that looks like an investment Serral is interested in making this time around for Game 3 of the best of 5. A few Banelings morphing in, and just going to be seeing the Marines and medevacs continuing down to the south, and just going to get onto the edge of creep spread. Going to stim forward, and we're actually going to get rid of a couple of creep tumors here pretty much right away. So able to get rid of those. A couple of Lings being shot at. Baneling's still on the way up, and yeah, I mean, his burrow's halfway done, Bane speed's halfway done. It is just going to be very Ling Bane focused for the moment. We get our 2-2 upgrades rolling, and then I'm just kind of sat here looking and thinking, well, what will the tech choice be? Are we going to play pure Ling Bane this time, you know, through and through? Do we just switch up into those lurkers eventually? I imagine the overall game plan is similar to what we saw last time around. Terran taking this third base over here rather than here. This is the more natural third for a Terran to take usually, but then you've got this base here, which, so if you take this base, you get this forward base, and that can be kind of cool for the Terran. I'm interested to see where this command center goes. I would imagine just up here. You take a very, you know, fairly regular 4-base setup, as these Marines lift back off, and they're going to go back down this side. Marines, Widow Mines, and Siege Tanks are pushing through the center, and just going to be seeing a few of these creep tumors already being picked away at as well. So a lot of creep spread being taken down. Lings and Banes go crashing in for the counterattack. Is going to get a massive connection on the SCVs there, so now they're very low HP, and they die so quickly. Oh my god, this is absolute disaster for Clem. He nearly lost the 4th command center to its low HP, as Lings do not get allowed into the main. But 20 SCVs, this counterattack did so much from nothing. I mean, there was only one Baneling that connected on the SCVs, and it just brought them all so low. The Lings had such a good time on the follow-up. Oh, that is brutal for Clem, who's got Lings still in his mineral line. That's going to be a few more SCVs going down. If Serral knew that this command center wasn't building, that would be an easy target. You know what? The SCVs are going to run this way, almost leading the Lings toward it, but, I mean, Clem, you actually don't want to do that. Fortunately for Clem, Serral still hasn't noticed. I mean, obviously, unfortunately for Clem, he hasn't noticed his fourth base isn't built either. He's really committed to this attack. He wants to win the game with this. Serral is forced to cancel a fifth base already. A macro hatchery here in some trouble as well. Baneling setting up. No upgrade lead yet. This fight will be 1-1 versus 1-1 as there are Lings in the main. There's Lings burrowed in the natural again. Another chaos as here he goes. Serral is going to get a siege tank on the left side easily. The Widow Mines don't really seem to be doing much at all. Hitting Queens? Oh, no, that's not going to be enough. Again, those Lings are still burrowed up, main and natural. Clem only has 39 workers. This entire game is just getting out of hand very quickly as Serral is doing a lot of damage here. These Lings pop back up. The CC finally finished, by the way, although it's currently burning down, so he's not started repairing it since the finished building. I've got that CC selected. I'm keeping an eye on whether it starts going up in hit points. It's about to drop below 100 as this attack comes in on the bottom side. Clem really is focused elsewhere as Lings want to run into this. Just going to be seeing the Ling Bane trying to counter it, and Clem does pull back for the moment. That CC is on 60 hit points, guys. Still dropping down. Some drones dying as the Widow Mine drop goes over here. These Marines come back in. So Clem comes back through, and he is dealing some decent damage here. But guys, his fourth base is going to burn down. Dead fourth base. Oh my goodness, and that is going to be brutal. Now it's 2-2 versus 1-1. A few drones going down, yes, but Serral may be about to be able to take some better fights. No wall off here. Serral just readying a counterattack to be able to kill reinforcements, maybe even go in for some of these SCVs. Like I say, no fourth base to Clem. Really takes away a lot of the potential of this game going on. Imagine he lands the fourth more supplanetary. It's playable. Your 20 workers down, yes, but if you take some good trades, right, maybe it's possible. It's not the best situation, but maybe Serral overcommits into the planetary. You don't get, loses a few units. Maybe it gives Clem that momentum. I don't know. I'm just spitballing a little bit, but it doesn't. It feels like it would have been a possibility had the fourth base been alive. But that fourth base, like I say, we were just kind of watching it burn down, and you just never put the SCV to repair it, because you can't repair it while it's not finished building, so you have to finish building it, then go back and repair. And he was just so preoccupied with everything else that just never really happened. So yeah, a lot of stuff starting to happen on this map. I mean, Clem getting caught up in in the mix of it as well, for sure. As Widow Mine drops here, trying to get some drones. Getting 5 is not bad, but I mean, it comes at the cost of the entire medevac. We're going to go for a massive drop in the main. Serral's Overlords are well positioned here to actually see this happen, and they really blend in with the map when they're in red. So he's going to start moving to the main fairly quickly, and that's just desperation for Clem. I mean, dropping like this into Zerg's main is never really kind of great. And I guess it's only like a triple medevac drop, but like it feels like so much more. As a full medevac goes down as well, so he loses that. Here comes the Ling Bane counterattack. Going to blow up 2 of the Widow Mines on the way in. Beautiful split away on the one Baneling that was hit by the mine. And at this point, Banes might just want to get some more SCVs. 6 more workers going down. Clem has gotten rid of a few drones. He drops over here for a couple more, perhaps. He's actually just going to type GG. Well played. He knows his economy is running low, and he just knows he's not breaking Serral at all here. And his position is not improving. So GG, well played, and Serral gets the momentum early in Game 3. Runs it through Clem for a victory, and Serral is on match point. Bottom left-hand side, our blue Terran player here is Clem. As in the top right-hand side, our red Zerg player is Serral. Now, you might be thinking best of 5 grand final. So I actually just thought this as well when I said Serral's on match 1. I was like, man, best of 5 grand final. So I actually did some digging, some spoiler-free digging, which was kind of awkward. But I'm in the HomeStory Cup Discord because I casted the first couple of days as the B stream. And the format is actually so, basically the player who comes from the winner bracket, they win a best of 5, they win the tournament. The player from the lower bracket, if they win the best of 5, they then have to win an additional best of 3 because the player from the winner bracket has just never lost, right? They've not lost their life. Now, I'm going to tell you guys something kind of awkward right now. I don't have a spoiler-free way of checking who came from the winner bracket and who came from the lower bracket. Like I say, I knew these two were in the finals, but I didn't really... I think I might have seen who came from where, but I can't say it with any amount of confidence. So what I'm going to say is that I do believe there's another folder of replays in case this goes to, like, another best of 3. I don't know if they're fake or spoiler-free or what. So I actually don't know. I'm going to have to do, like, a little bit of awkward... The only thing I can think of is if I can zoom in on Wikipedia enough and I can just read the upper bracket, maybe I can do that. Okay, I'm doing it live, guys. Okay, I'm going to the Stay at Home Story Cup page with everything super zoomed in. This should work, right? Yeah, I think so. Okay. Sorry, I'm doing it live even though this is a YouTube cast. Oh, perfect. So I can actually, because the grand final is like lower down on the bracket because it's a double elim bracket, I can see the upper bracket final. So the upper bracket final, Clem came through the upper bracket final. So Clem is from the upper bracket and Serral is from the lower bracket. So actually, while this is match point for Serral, it's not tournament point. Sorry for doing this live, guys. Like I said, just kind of... I didn't really know how I was going to do it any better, but then I thought, oh, what if I zoom in? So Clem came from the upper bracket, which means I believe then if he loses this map, there's an additional best of 3 of games. And if he wins this map, then he plays game 5, obviously. Sorry, if he wins this series, he wins the tournament. So Serral can't win the tournament of this best of 5. And I guess if that happens, we have those replays as well. I didn't look in depth in the replay pack. I really just opened up the grand final stuff and started casting games. So, yeah, if that happens, we will cast the extra best of 3, probably just on top of this. Maybe we do it separate. I actually have no idea. I didn't plan for this, guys. This is not normal. This is not a format we use in StarCraft 2 a lot. So, I'm just going to say we're going to wing it. I think it might just be a different video, actually, because this one's already had some long games. Yeah, maybe we just wing it a little bit. So, yeah. Sorry, I know this was a terrible... this was a really bad explanation of everything, wasn't it? I was just all over the place there. I honestly, I came into the game ready to explain it, and I was like, wait a second, mastermind idea. Just seeing a 3cc opening, by the way, in case you want to shout at me for not talking about the game. It's pretty standard, apart from this proxy starport, so... I guess that is something for us to start talking about now, and we can put the first 3 minutes behind us as the starport comes up. So Clem's looking to deal some damage early. This should just be a medevac. The whole point of proxying the starport is usually to get the Hellions into the main base of your opponent even sooner than usual. And there is that medevac starting up. He didn't quite have the gas for it when it finished. That's a little bit weird. I wonder what happened with the build there for him to not be quite exactly on the gas. Because that feels like something that should have been... I mean, if you're going to proxy the starport and the whole idea is to get the Hellions into the main quickly, that medevac should be building immediately. You know, you've got 4 Hellions right now. One of the main things here from Serral is obviously seeing where the Hellions go and seeing these Hellions head off to the right-hand side. If they don't come around here, you've got to start thinking maybe where are these Hellions going to. He doesn't have an Overlord in a good position here. If he doesn't see them again, yeah. Look, I mean, that's what I mean. He just knows. And that's amazing. Get on top of these Hellions like this quickly. You can just see the damage you do without losing Lings. This was a little bit better because he got to drop a bit away from the Lings. He loses a Hellion, though. Really good defense from Serral. I mean, now 3 Hellions is nowhere near as scary. Yes, they're still one-shot, but it's going to be just a more... Yeah, just a great defense. And like I said, it's a great way of figuring out what's happening because he's like, well, those Hellions went to the right. They didn't show themselves to try and deny creep at all. So what else could possibly they be going to the right side of the map for? Well, yeah, going for that. I'm not sure if this Overlord saw kind of, you know, a lack of starport in the main as well. Maybe that was also a tell that I missed out on, but I remember Serral because we interviewed him when he won DreamHack, and it was a similar sort of question where he's like, I think Kat asked him, hey, did you know about the Hellion drop? And he was just like, oh, well, you know, I saw his, he said, in this case, like, in DreamHack, he said, I glimpsed it, but actually I would have known anyway, because the Hellions disappeared and they didn't show up again, and that's why I'm drawing this commentary from. So, yeah, it's a cool little something. Like, again, you know, you're not just making decisions on what you see, it's then what you see, but then you don't see after, right? You're putting, like, 2 and 2 together. You know, Serral is doing the basic math in this ZvT. Is Hellions are now just back to their usual schedule, trying to figure out ways to just attack on in and do a little bit of something here or there. The medevac is still alive, and it went home. I wouldn't mind with the medevac just lifting up these Marines and going across the map. The only issue there is you've got no real units to defend a counterattack on your third base. But I do think, I mean, It's just you've got the medevac, use it for some aggression. You've still got the Hellions poking around. This is probably your next best shot at really trying to pull Serral apart a little bit and really trying to mix things up a little. You know, so we're going to see these Marines dropping down. A Ling gets taken down here. Just going to see these few Queens of Serral going around as well as the few Hellions going through. A little bit of creep spread being denied. And just picking off those tumors as we do have Marines pushing up the right-hand side of the map. And these Lings wanting to get a wrap around, not quite able to just yet. And the Hellions and a Reaper really are thinking about maybe going to that 12 o'clock base. And Marines unloading once again, just going to go nibbling away at the Overlord. Actually has Stim as well, right? So you can actually take a pretty reasonable fight. Doesn't try fight against those Lings. Drops back down to fight the Lings. Okay, that was pretty cool as well as just drop and heal and just trying to get better positions basically. Doesn't lose a Marine. Really cute early game. Medevac Marine micro. Pretty well done in all honesty. That's been pretty cool as you see some extra Banes morphing in. These Hellions getting guard out on that watchtower. A couple of Lings getting roasted. And more of these Marines and Mines making their way up the left-hand side of the map. A lot of Zerglings coming through the center and some around the right side as well. As you get rid of an Overlord, Marines come back and get picked up, so they're going to escape away elsewhere. And yeah, game just settling down a little bit as our Marines will unload here, and our feelings coming through to deny the drop. I mean, this is pretty much a constant thing as Clem is now pushing up the left side of the map. Grenade to bop the Queens back just slightly. And then the rest of the Ling Bane just kind of hanging out there too. Our Marine's going to come back through into the center. Drilling Claws is on the way. Just going to be seeing the Burrow is on the way up also. And yeah, another Overlord over here as well. So just going to be able to pick that off. Get rid of a few more creep tumors. Oh no, 18 SCVs just went down on the back. I mean, let's watch this fight. This is what Clem was watching too. Was not aware of his entire mineral line being crashed into by Banelings. So a lot of SCVs going down. That's a major connection. Sorry it was off screen. But all of a sudden, Clem loses a lot of his momentum in a game where he was actually ahead in workers and putting on great pressure. It was a much-needed counterattack from Serral, because without that, Serral is actually in some serious trouble, I think. Looking at the current work count of the Zerg. Clem gets over here. These Widow Mines will start a burrow. No Drilling Claws yet. It's been very similar game by game from Clem in terms of mid-game composition. He's pretty much always playing into those Drilling Claw Widow Mines. He's not been wanting to change away from that too much here, which is understandable. I think very much so makes sense. So yeah, no surprises in that regard. It's just going to be seeing our Banes wanting to come through, just connect on a Widow Mine. And our Marines maybe thinking about what else they can do here as they stem forward, looking for some damage onto these Banelings. A couple of them finishing up, backing away. Another Baneling trying to come on through. And now these Marines going to go a little bit crazy, heading up and chasing down an Overseer. So that's taking some damage. 6 SCVs going down. Ling's getting pushed around everywhere else as well. That's going to be seen now. Ling Bane still running forwards here. Marines and Widow Mines pulling back, and now going to turn back around into this. These Banelings taking some damage. The Marines getting rid of the Lings. And we are going to be seeing the 2-tier upgrades on either side of the map starting up now as well, as we have our Liberator coming up from Clem 2. On the bottom side, the single Zergling is nibbling his way through that command center. That's not a big deal. We get to 4 bases as Clem. His economy is on the way back. I mean, it's now a 20 worker lead from Serral and has been for a little while, but Clem's trading well enough here that he can justify being a little bit behind like that. That Widow Mine, obviously, a clutch takedown, because if that doesn't go down, there's a lot of Ling Bane clumped up that would have been dying there. So that's obviously really nice to get rid of, as Marines will now unload into the corner of this main base. And we are just going to get ready to pressure out of this side. Ling's going to be taking some damage. The Bane's coming over. He's going to be dropping the units back down over here, going for a few of these drone kills. And 15 drones down all of a sudden. This Liberator is in play as well, getting some damage done. All of a sudden, Clem is everywhere dealing some shots. There was a Widow Mine drop over here that initially did some damage as he gets up to 19 workers killed. Well, Serral no longer has that worker lead, and that's actually going to be substantially bad for him, as this game has really been back and forth. I mean, I gotta just make a comment on the overall TVZ here, guys. I feel like we're seeing some masterclass TVZ from both sides. It's aggressive, it's feisty, it's all game long. You know, it's non-stop action, it's trades on all sides of the map, there's a lot of army movement. Like, at points, it almost feels as though we've grown to accept that this is TVZ, but I think we've really got to accept that this is some really stellar variation on the TVZ. It's been amazing, and so far, just game after game. I mean, the least exciting game was that Hardwire game where Clem just lost a lot of units, or a lot of workers very quickly. And it's just going to be seeing our Marines coming in from the right-hand side, and That's going to be a Queen getting picked away at. Does go down. A couple of creep teamers going down as well. Our Marines lift back into medevacs. I'm just going to be seeing a few more units moving up through the center here as Infestation Pit is about to be done. I'm just going to see that Widow Mine burrowing up. Nice connection on a couple of Zerglings. Another few Zerglings going down top left side. Banes are coming crashing into these Marines, and Clem just has to go running. Everything low HP. Doesn't have medevacs to evacuate, so Serral gets a good chunk of Terran army there. It's not able, often you're able to kind of chew out that much of the Terran army, so quickly or all at once, because usually the medevacs lift up and you evacuate, but not enough medevacs. And that becomes a problem, of course. Another Widow Mine drop loads up. I mean, they are just consistent from Clem. Absolutely non-stop. Drop after drop. Is not going to be letting that up anytime soon, as we do see these Banelings. Very cute burrowed Banelings there. If they get a connect, I mean, so far, not a chance. And that's almost not enough Marines to justify the play, So Serral will be waiting just a little bit longer. I wouldn't even mind him unburrowing and relocating them slightly once Clem's out of the watchtower. But then how does he know when Clem's out of the watchtower? Maybe he can try and take it. He's going to send some lings around here. Maybe he could draw these Marines back over that direction. That would be cute, right? You see it with Mutalisks a lot, right? When Muta's like, no, don't chase us over here. Oh, you're going to catch, boom, Baneling Bomb, right? Yeah, 6 Widow Mines, 6 drones, 2 Widow Mines over here. Sent them back, didn't realize there was one more. Gets 7 additional kills. Slaying Bane, trying to burrow up as well. I mean, Clem's very aware that burrow is on the map. It's just, how often can you scan? Can you scan every step of your way as you move across every time? Not really. I don't think there's any burrowed Banes up this way anyway. It really is just this cluster down here. I hope we get to see those come into play a bit as our bio army is simming forward. Lingbane Hydra to try and deflect. Obviously, this has been Hydra's a bit faster this game and a later Lurker Den, so a bit of a different approach to, from Serral compared to what we've seen previously. Our first Widow Mine taken down immediately. Other Widow Mines burrowing up. Do we get a big connection here? Boom! Yes, we do. A good few lings going down. That's big as we lift that Widow Mine up. We take it to the high ground. We drop it down. We pick it up. It's going to dance around. Ghost Academy coming in over here. Just scanning out on the south as our Lingbane continuing through. A couple Widow Mines getting picked off. And we are going to be seeing this army of Serral continuing to make its way down to the south side. We've got a bit of bio coming up to the top. In we go. As these Banelings come through, Widow Mine's in a bit of trouble, getting blown up right there. And just going to be seeing the Ling Hydra getting chased out as well. So far, so good. Just going to see the rest of this all setting up and just going to be having our Changelings being cleared out as well. Clem still has an army top left side. Obviously, Lurker's on the way, Ghost's on the way. We're getting into that cool late game once again where that back and forth tends to take place. I love the Marauder's turn. That felt like it was just going to be an eventuality. It's crazy when, these two are playing at a level where you just expect the really cool moves all of the time. These Banelings ended up going down and I missed them. God damn it, I'm sad. I felt like I kept my eyes on them perfectly for like 2 minutes and I looked away and now they're gone. I'm like, what happened? Did they kill stuff? It's a struggle when solo observing sometimes, guys, and casting. Anyways, the single Ling here will just set off a Widow Mine, and the next one too, so just clearing out the mine path. And there's a few Marines top left are coming back in. I feel like the drop's been up there for ages, as Clem will start to lose out on it. An army down here will not be broken. We're still pushing at the top side too. I mean, that's what's crazy as well. There's just so many different small fights happening or about to happen. You've got to prioritize all of these. We've not been seeing anyone really just run headfirst into Banes or, run headfirst into Widow Mines. It's been very minimal of that. And that just shows just how much attention is being paid around this map at the moment. There's a couple of snipes coming down. Lurkers are being cancelled up. I think Bane's still moving along as our bio army will show up. Will kill off this hatchery. Obviously, this is one of those maps where there's a lot of bases available. So if you lose a base on one side, taking a base on another is possible, although in this case, Clem has been doing a reasonable job of slowing Serral down on other bases. Just keeping him on the 5 base for the moment, so, 5 base while he's up on 6 of his own, Clem will be happy, and that is a Widow Mine shot. 24 kills. It's talked about not diving headfirst into any Widow Mines, but obviously that would go against what I was just suggesting is happening, so, yeah, Serral just wanted to prove the caster wrong as another Widow Mine shot. That one trails onto the Marines, actually, so not doing as well. Parasite Bomb amongst the mayhem, and The split took a little while, so those medevacs getting chipped away at. Might be worth even looking to repair a few of those if you have a moment or two. I mean, I know that slows down your game, but you're getting to the point where a lot of these medevacs are going to die to like a single bomb for a couple of seconds. So that's just a lot of value lying in wait for Serral. You get one parasitic bomb, you kill 3-4 medevacs real quick. That's fantastic. So that's all I'm worried about. As extra lurkers come through, we scan bottom right to take down the Ling that's blocking this base. Uh-oh, Baneling's here. Baneling's here. Serral not watching. That would have been a good clump of Marines to get rid of. But maybe there'll be another opportunity. That they are right on the pathway, you know. They are absolutely where you want them to be. But now they're not clumped up as much, these Marines. Before, they really were, like, the perfect little setup is... Oh, Widow Mine gets a 21 kill shot. That's massive as well. Counterattack bottom right. Serral wants to deny this base from getting online. Rightfully so. He knows that, you know, he can't just let Clem have these bases for free. At least he wants to contest them. Through we go, explosions and fireworks going on in. So got these couple of Banelings off to the side. This base is lifted. I'm surprised the Banes didn't roll into this planetary sooner. I really thought that was going to be kind of the plan, but I guess Serral also got caught up in the chaos of everything else happening. Yeah, right now these Banes should be going in there and taking down the SCVs, letting the lurkers actually have a chance to take down this planetary. Otherwise, the repair is just going to be too much. Clem is going to get units showing up over there to start pushing that back. And so we can turn our attention back to the top side where a bunch of lurker shots are going to send some Marine corpses floating to the surface of 2,000 atmospheres. Lurkersborough again, the Marines taking damage, a couple snipes trying to line up, everything collecting back to the center. There's a lot of Lings, a lot of Banes, +2 missiles and the +3 melee, all of this coming through. Another Widow Mine shot that connects but doesn't do too much. And Serral making his way down the bottom right-hand side, wants to deny this base. Then we're going to go from there, right? I mean, again, just really does not want to let Clem get here. And this time, it actually morphs into a planetary, so it's just going to die. It's just going to need a new base to lift over to it. I mean, there are orbitals available. Orbital's not the best, though, because then Lings alone do a lot of damage, right? So, I mean, a question mark to be left there as we actually continue down over here. Serral losing his top left, but he is going to deny the bottom right as well. This planetary goes down, 10 SCVs are being picked away at. Obviously, no drones died in the killing of this base up here. And Serral does have the right side base now mining again, so that is important. Clem has not really found any pressure on the right side for a while. You know, in a series where he's been very consistently going one way than the other, he's now slowed it down a little bit. And is more so focusing just on denying the top left. As Serral obviously is really putting his attention into denying that bottom right-hand side. A few snipes going off here. So we've got a large... Oh my god! That Widow Mine! Oh, he didn't get a click on it to see how many kills that was. I was trying to, but the Zerg units were running over. In the end, they blew it up, but a lot less Lings than meant to be coming in over here as we target fire down Banes. Now we're going to snipe the Overseers. And a few of those will go down as Clem has fought his way onto this base over here. This is not a base you often see in 2,000 atmospheres in general. And especially not for a Terran to take, so that's kind of showing you where this game is headed. It's been kind of wild. Like I say, only an orbital here now is obviously not great. That's really far from ideal. SCVs are being chased around by a lurker and stuff, and it just means you're always going to have to send units to deal with this. As Clem does have the creep pushed back in such a way that Serral defending this top base might have some more trouble now. He's got creep around it, but he can get onto that base much more easily, and he can retreat to this planetary too, so Serral can't do much to really break this position. Or can he? Can he just run into this? Widow Mine still going down in this game as resources lost is 33k to 24.5k. Units lost tab in this game, almost 600 Lings, 60 Widow Mines. Couple of notable mentions, 44 to 43 workers killed. They've both been slaughtering workers all game long, of course. In a hectic game like this, I mean, there's no way around that. Lurkersborough up again, just going to be seeing those ghosts chased away, and just going to be seeing the Overseer getting pushed back as well. Just going to be seeing that Ling Bank, our ghost coming through. Going to start trying to get some snipes going, as we are going to be having the Ling Bank continuing forward, chasing down those ghosts. And Serral with a good amount of attention paid to this bottom right. He's now got the bottom corner base set up. So initially, obviously, he was thinking about this base here. That's been denied multiple times, so he just takes this base. I mean, when you're denying these bases, it does seem like the logical way to go. Clem really just gave up on paying attention to the bottom right side of the map. And in a way, that's fine because he's expanding up this direction, but it does... Serral's taking advantage of it in the right way. He's been attacking there. He's been denying the bases there, and now he's taking real estate over there as well. And I think that really is the correct plays based on what Clem has done, putting so much more focus to the top. Now Clem is back around the bottom, maybe realizing some of these bottom side bases are the important ones to push because he's gotten rid of these bases. He doesn't want to go dive into this base that's almost mining out. He wants to hit the base that are fresh. 8 mineral patches still alive. He knows that's where the value is to be had, because we do not get many lurkers there. Just the one man. The Widow Mines are really starting to stack up. I feel like ever since I mentioned people aren't running headfirst into Banes and Widow Mines, Serral has ran headfirst into a few Widow Mines. But I mean, the game is getting crazy. And it's getting draining as well, this overall series, right? It's been absolutely non-stop. Like, absolutely non-stop as a few more snipes continuing through. Lurkers and Hydras taking damage. We burrow up, going to push this Bioforce away. The Ling Bane's going to go in to try and help out. Big Widow Mine shot again. 23 kills on Lings and Banes. Well, I mean, Clem putting attention bottom right, but he still does have a few units up here, and they take down the 12 o'clock base. So another base down from Serral. And Serral's supply suddenly is just at 145. He doesn't have a bank to rebuild. The last few moments have been devastating for Serral. Look at these drop-offs. Clem's not been losing anything, and he's won 1, 2, 3 major fights. And he's just barely had to rebuild off the back of those. And all of a sudden, you're 136 to 88 army supply. Serral was doing a good job of keeping a lot of things in this game under control, but he's really just slipped up on some of these previous engagements in the last few moments. The drones are going to unburrow from over here, and they're on the run. I mean, they're just going to burrow again and try and force scans. The best you can do at this point to try and get something. I mean, maybe there's a miracle in which Clem never saw them, but drones will go down. So they're not going to get anywhere to mine. Obviously, Clem is working his way towards this top left base, so he'll have another base of his own. And how do you fight that as Serral? I mean, when you've started now take so much attention on the bottom right, I mean, I guess you just go back to designing this base, right? That kind of becomes your goal all over again. So you're going to see that Ghost pressing forwards. These lurkers coming through with the Hydras. Now we're going to see a couple of shots flying up. The Baneling's going off, and the Widow Mine's going off. The Ghosts are going to be trying to get a few snipes going. A few of these Hydras going to get lined up and killed. Honestly, I feel like Serral's about to lose this base on this right-hand side as these Ghosts come forward again. Another couple of snipes looking good. We're aiming up on the Overseers too. I mean, these are all things you got to rebuild, right? And man, look at how effective these Ghosts have been. They're out of energy, basically. And oh my god, lurkers are running into a minefield. Serral is desperate. He's like, I must kill these Ghosts to have anything of a chance. Marines are going to kill his economy bottom right at the same time, though. Serral types GG as Clem. I mean, just about wrestles his way into the advantage. But once he got that advantage, it fell apart very quickly from Serral. It was a fantastic back and forth game once again. Really loved what happened with the bottom right side of the map for a while, but Clem was right to put so much attention on the top because he really won out on the top. Replaced the bases he was losing, really took away bases of Serral, and then he still had the option to attack bottom right because Serral never had creep over there. So he never really controlled the bottom right like he might have wanted to. GG's, and we go to a game 5. So at an earlier point I discussed what the veto might have been from Serral. It looks like he vetoed Berlingrad and chose to play on Blackburn for map 5 of this series. As Clem spawns bottom right and Serral spawns bottom left. Just to reiterate what I figured out at the start of that last map is that, again, if Clem wins this map, he's the stay-at-home Story Cup champion. If Serral wins this map, he has to win an additional best of 3 because he came from the lower bracket. That's how things go as our Overlord heads across through the bottom side of the map. A barracks going down to start things off. Game 5 of the series. Here on Blackburn. As we get this ready to go. Well, drone's going down. A barracks on the way as we see our Overlord just skipping across town to see what exactly Clem is up to at the start of Blackburn here. Been a fantastic best of 5. I think, guys, if Serral does win this, I will make a separate video for the next best of 3 that decides it. And that way, this is also spoiler-free, right? Because I know someone's going to be like, well, Wardy, I looked at the time and I realized if Clem wins the tournament, well, he won the tournament in the next 10 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, so I think I'll make a separate video. Then it keeps it spoiler-free no matter what as well. And then we can, I mean, it's good for me. Second upload of Serral Clem, I'll take it. Yeah, I think it makes sense. This has been a long video anyway, so just a heads up. Hopefully that keeps it spoiler-free for you all. As we get a command center down onto the natural expansion. Reaper is coming through and just going to be seeing a drone. Building on up, hatchery on the natural, everything's standard once again here on Blackburn. A map which has been very well known for its roach play lately, so maybe that's something we'll see come to fruition from Serral. He did mix in a lot of roaches against Clem at DreamHack, but he's really turned away from that style here at the HomeStory Cup Grand Finals. Definitely an interesting little something to keep in mind, right? Overlord moving around, another Overlord on the south side, everything just, again, hopping around a little bit, seeing what's up here and there. Just going to be having our Marine rolling over on the sides. Looking at speed building up on the spawning pool as our Overlord getting going. Just going to be seeing our Engineering Bay is about to be finished. That's actually pretty cute, the Engineering Bay block on Blackburn. It's something that Clem really likes to do, as the Reaper is going to try and guard here. Serral doesn't know the Engineering Base here. The problem is, do you want to take this bottom base? Not really. Because this base is expanding towards the Terran. It's horrible to take as a Zerg. Like, it really goes against everything you want to be doing. So now Serral just has to kind of play a bit of an early game he didn't want to play, right? Like, his third is going to be denied significantly from where he wanted it to be. And I'm honestly surprised Serral didn't even try and check this a little bit sooner. I guess he couldn't with the Reaper, but I mean, this is something that Clem does do a frequent amount of the time. You know, he does this a lot, so do fight a little bit here. The few Lings and a Reaper are going to get chased. Yeah, have a chase down. Once the Lings get speed, they'll go help with that Engineering Bay. They want to get rid of that ASAP. That is the priority. Doesn't want to delay the hatchery any further. As he finally gets down about, what, 340? It's about a 40-second delay from when that drone was initially headed to the third base. So, big delay on this third base of Serral already as a Reaper and a Hellion coming across the map, making their way over here. And we're just going to be seeing the few Queens moving down the ramp as well. Well, they are going to get hit by a grenade, bought back a little bit. And Banshee in production as an Overlord comes to check out the main base as well. Queen's body blocking, and that's actually going to be a kill on the Reaper if nothing else. And damaged Hellion's definitely going to slow things down as well, as Clem is once again back to Banshees. I mean, 3cc Banshees just going into this very eco-focused setup, followed by Banshee production. Really, nicely set up for the moment, I feel like, is just going to be seeing our Marine going to chip away and kill off this Overlord. It's going to be seeing those couple of extra barracks on the way up as we get the first Banshee onto the map, and we'll see what it can do. And Banshee number 2 starts up. Serral again is playing a lot of these melee upgrade early openings. People really did turn away from this a lot. I mean, if you look at a lot of ZvTs, and I'd say even still right now, this is the less commonly used opening in general versus the faster lair, the faster base speed, later upgrades. As Serral has really been hammering the faster upgrade build all series long here. Like, it has been absolutely non-stop. There's a couple more creep tumors spread on forward, the few Hellions coming around the top side. And again, those couple of creep tumors will drop down to push to the upper side of the map as our Lings are going to work their way through the rocks. So, again, just nibbling through the rocks at the moment. Another creep tumor or two pushing out into the center. And just going to be seeing a little bit of a... Was that a kill? Hellion went down. I mean, Hellion's not doing well. Serral just picking off rocks. We're waiting for these Banshees to really give us some action here early on Blackburn. It's been a pretty passive 6 minutes par the Engineering Bay block on the third base. I mean, that was a significant bit of action for sure. Nothing transferring just yet, as Serral will find these Banshees onto his natural, and he will lose a couple of drones right away, dancing out of range of the Spore. Just taking a few Queen shots into the main, doing a similar kind of thing. And just forcing some worker pulls as well, right? We come back in, you get another shot off. The Queen only gets one shot back. I mean, good play from Clem, getting a few drones initially. And he's got the Hellions at the same time, showing up for 5 kills. So he just slipped into the edge of the mineral line. Oh, but that's a misclick. Rallying them to the low ground. They should have been up to the high ground. He shouldn't have lost that Hellion there. So, unfortunate. But now up to 14, 15 kills. Oh my goodness. The early game damage is being done. I mean, this is really what we're talking about when we talk about like Banshee Hellion harass. 10 kills on the Banshees. The Hellions picked up the 5. It's just so annoying. Like, Serral's fairly well prepared. All he's missing was, you know, a lair for an overseer. But, you know, the spores were there, etc. And you're just taking so much damage. And this is the kind of damage where usually Clem kind of just pushes with bio. And the game just ends soon after. So Serral going Hydro Den right away. I think that's expected because at the moment, I would say, based on where this game is going, you are going to need what I've talked about before in this series, right? The sturdiness of the Hydras, their ability to just hold off this Terran army a little bit more easily. You're absolutely going to need that, given the way that this game is currently going. As our Marines come forward, they are going to unload. And that Overlord is already taking damage. Reload the Marines back up, and they are going to come back through the center. As a few of those Lings get chased away, and the few Hellions continuing through the south side. So everything coming through the bottom, and now it's a bit of a scary push. 1-1 not done yet from Clem, though, so that might be the one saving grace for a few moments from Serral. I guess 1-1's not that far away, though. 10 seconds out. And we're going to just drop to start siege in the main. So Serral going to be forced into a fight here where a tank is sieged. Serral supply block, by the way, as well as he's floating money that could already be units on the way. That's a serious supply block, and not when you want it to be happening. As Spores try and move forward to zone the medevacs a little bit, but yeah, now the Queens get a chance to come through. I think that initial lift up might have just been a little soon. Okay, he's going to get a chance to unload again, but yeah, okay, now these Marines do get dealt with. The tank is doing good damage, though, trying to target fire Banes, I believe, as well. Just doing whatever possible, and look at Clem. A third base with a Sense Tower on it at 8 minutes. That is really just a credit to say, like, hey, I've had some trouble with your counterattacks this series. I'm going to make sure that that's not really a thing anymore, as these few Marines will stim, those Lings get turned around. I'm just going to be seeing a few more Hydras continuing to produce as our Marines come forward for a bit more creep spread. And just going to be seeing the Widow Mines lining up on those Zerglings. Marines still just pulling back. I mean, Serral kind of cleans out this position. Clem saving a few of the Marines is nice. He's still up in supply, Clem, as he's going to drop into the natural. His medevac's are low HP, though, so how long do you really stick around with this for? That tank on siege, but he's blocked. This Hellbat's like, I don't like you, siege tank. He just blocked him in. That's some factory-on-factory unit treachery right there. The top side still going to be seeing those few Marines trying to move on through. And that will be a drop which will be aiming to get to the back of the gold base. Serral knows exactly where Clem wants to be. And he's going to be here to meet this. And, ooh, even getting the Baneling connections. So the Marines didn't load up in time. Kind of what Serral needs, considering the way the game has gone. You can see he's down on drones even at the moment. So shutting down units like this, finding a bit of efficiency that you might not usually get. This is actually all very essential. Stuff you really need to happen is Flame Bane trying to move through here. These couple Hellbats get taken down. Here comes the rest of this army from Clem. Moving through the bottom side. A couple more Banelings setting up. The Groove Spines is about to finish. We're going to start stibbing our Marines forward again. Chasing back this Lingbane Hydra. Just going to see more Widow Mines burrowing up. Now we're going to turn around again. A couple of Overseers being picked away at. I mean, Serral, obviously all of these fights are happening off creep. 2-2 is what he's trying to really take advantage of here, by the way. Fight 2-2 versus 1-1, but +2 attack is now done for Clem. Widow Mines are doing a very good job, if nothing else, of just slowing Serral down. Serral can't just commit fully to aim moving forward. Well, Serral is so all in, guys. He's 66 drones. He's not built anymore. He's absolutely dedicated to ending this game with this push. He does have the gold-based mine, so it's a bit of a boosted economy versus your usual 66 drones. So yeah, he wants to push and kill right now. Now he starts up a missile upgrade, so he's kind of thinking, okay, what else can I do? He's getting all of the SCVs on the third base. That's a big deal, but he's obviously, denying his own economy by choosing not to build workers. The fact that Clem's on 4 bases, losing 20 workers is actually way less meaningful than it usually might be. And these Hydras obviously don't have an attack upgrade, so they've never been that scary. And now they're getting chased down. These Marines are just going to turn and fight them. And the problem is, if these Hydras actually really are taking damage like this, they are taking a lot of damage, and that's not pretty. As the Lings come in once again, trying to make something happen. These Marines are standing strong. Widow Mines on the left side actually just got burrowed up. I was going to see these Marines fighting into the natural, trying to defend. Serral's starting to break on through here. He's going to get some Lings split away too. The mineral line pulls them all back, though. The Hydras are going to pull back too. And he is building an infestation pit. I think he's realizing that this is not doing enough. The Widow Mine's softening up units as he escapes. And now Clem's going to chase this down. He's going to get a couple Hydra kills at the tail end of this. Depends if he wants to stim again as they get to creep. Oh, the transfusions come in, minimizing the losses. I mean, Serral built an infestation pit. Did he just cancel it? No, it finished. So he's still building an expansion, taking an attack. But is he actually going to get any drones? He's only on 64 drones at the moment. Versus the 65 SCVs? Bit of mine lines up. A few Lings get taken down. This army of Clem moving back around the right side. A gold base now going to be established as well from Clem. So getting that online is obviously a big plus. On the left, just going to see a scan. A few drones moving around there. Planetary Fortress is building up from Clem on that gold base now, as we kind of previously suggested it might be doing soon. And just going to be seeing our Widowmine Marine Force moving through the bottom side of the map. Clem takes a supply lead, and that's just what happens when the Zerg has not had that economy all game long. Serral still trying to stay on this low economy as we stim forward. Widowmines are set up, and let's see what the Widowmines can do here. That Widowmine's not fired for a long time. He unburrowed and reburrowed it. I mean, now it just dies. That Widowmine kills off a good few Lings at the front here as Clem trying to push on through. I mean, this is why you don't want to take this base earlier in the game, because you can see how easy it can be for the Terran to push here, as this planetary is up, by the way. So 5 bases of Clem. I mean, he really just expanded in this game. This almost came out of nowhere, as drones dying on the gold base as well. Serral's herd economy hurting even more. Now spending some money to rebuild those drones, and Clem's going to take a chance to dive the main while Serral's moving up to the top. He wants to get behind the gold mineral line and deny that mining, but he's going to take damage in his main. This big drop is going to pull the entire army of Serral back home. But Widowmine's already setting up. These Marines will stim in. I mean, I guess you're just going to lift up and get out of here. Let the Widowmines do some work. And yeah, now Clem's also opened up this attack path because Serral pulled back home. Suddenly you're denying creep up here. He's behind the gold base. This is where he was trying to get to earlier. Beautiful 1-2 army movement from Clem, right? Just, you know, first this way, then that way. Really taking advantage of where Serral is moving to deal with previous attacks. Widowmines are doing well here, as this army of Serral seems uninspired, trailing through the Widowmines. Off creep right now with Hydra Bane. I mean, Serral is losing this base as well. He says GG and well played, because typing out here means that Clem is going to be your stay-at-home story cup number 4 champion. And it was a GG. I think this was a convincing game from Clem. Probably the most convincing. He got off to a good early game. He defended as he needed to going on from there. Just did what was necessary. GG's. Clem takes it 3-2. He's your stay-at-home story cup champion. Guys, thanks so much for watching. It's been a while since I did a YouTube exclusive. If you liked it, leave a like, consider subbing, maybe leave a comment. Let me know you want me to do more, maybe. I think there's always a different feel to these casts than when I just upload them off my stream. It's definitely something I want to do more of again. It's just got to find that time with the puppy and stuff. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Congratulations to Clem, of course. And I will see you guys next time.